Hi everyone, my name is Gabrielle Jackson. I'm from New Jersey.
And I'm Cedric Jackson. I'm from Arkansas. And we're not related.
Welcome today. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Today I have some beautiful brown, bright people here who want to share their experience with you all who are hoping to travel to Colombia one day. What brought you here to Colombia?
Well, we both came to Colombia on a Fullbright scholarship. So it's a program that has options in over like 170 different countries, a partnership between the U.S. and a different country. And we're here to teach English on a scholarship.
And how did you meet?
So we actually met through the program.
Oh, so cool. I love when intelligent people come together.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Tell people kind of about how Fulbright has been for you. So what were you expecting out of it? Did it fulfill your expectations? Has it been an overall good experience for you?
So for me, Fullbright has actually been pretty awesome. It brought me out of my comfort zone, brought me into a new country, met some pretty dope people, as you said. So far, overall, it's been a pretty good experience. I've had my ups and downs like everybody, but for the most part,
I'd echo, and I'd say that it's been a rewarding experience. I definitely knew to manage my expectations before coming here, to know that there are going to be ups and downs, that where I'm going is not like home, so just learning to be adaptive and be flexible. But overall, I think it's served as a good period of reflection for me, a good time to breathe, to reprocess, and to prep me for my next step when I go back home. So
That sounds awesome. Awesome. That's so good to hear. So how long is the Fulbright program? How long is it last?
so the program, our specific program is for 10 months total.
10 months, okay. And then Fulbrights, they vary in times depending on where
the country.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
yours is 10 months. So within that first month or two, how was it transitioning from being, in the States to living here in Colombia?
We had different experiences.
Yes.
So I'd call the first month and definitely first two my honeymoon period. So I had the privilege of being able to be abroad for significant periods of time before. So I knew that you always have an adjustment period, but I think I was excited and I've been waiting for this for a really long time because COVID had delayed things.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of just came and was like, whatever comes, I'm just going to take it and it's going to be great. So I think really the main difficulty was finding housing, but I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to find it within the first 3 weeks. So I was just traveling, living my life and adjusting. So I was good first 2 months.
Nice.
Mine, like she said, was kind of the opposite. I have been abroad before, but it was only for a month and not for a 10-month period. But my first week to 2 weeks were kind of terrible. I broke my phone like the third day here, even though my phone is still workable. But I guess switching over to the lifestyle and to the just Spanish at every corner, it was.
So how long were you without your phone?
No, I always had my phone.
Okay.
I didn't break it; it more cracked.
I see. Okay.
So, but I've never broken a phone before, so I'm like, what am I doing?
Right, let
it's
alone,
the third day.
So what do I do in general, let alone in another country?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay. So what is the biggest thing in this transition that was tough for you? So you said housing. Was there anything else you can think of that maybe was tough?
I have to say, it would have been a lot more challenging if we didn't have friends in the beginning help us out. In order for us to get our phones working, we had someone we met the first day who helped us.
Yeah.
He was able to be our sponsor, basically, or our co-signer. We have a really close friend who helped me sign my apartment contract. So I still found it myself, but she helped us out.
I literally read the contract and was
Yes,
you
this is straight.
So if Fullbright puts that in your hands to find.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes. So I think if we didn't have that support of Colombian friends who helped us out and helped us navigate the system, it would have been a lot more of a challenge and a headache, at least for me.
No, that's across the board. Because, when we got here, it was kind of on us. It was as Fullbright, we're going to be checking in on y'all. But y'all got this because we've been knowing about this.
Where did you meet these Colombian friends? Were they a part of Fullbright as well?
So,
how did you meet them?
One of our friends, the one that read our contract, she actually works at the university.
Oh,
So she was like kind of like the liaison. They helped pick us up from the airport, that type of thing. But the other person,
I actually met through someone who works at the university. He also works at the university, but he doesn't act as our liaison. He just became a friend and really was just, out of the goodness of his heart, helped us all out.
literally.
That's really great. I mean, that's awesome.
Oh, our friend that we were talking about, he's right there.
Wow.
That's
That's literally.
Wow.
Yeah, he helped us get our phone bill.
Here's your friend.
Hola.
Nuestra amiga.
Okay.
Estamos en una entrevista y no, estamos hablando de ti, literalmente. Yes. No, de amigos que te han ayudado en nuestro proceso, entonces,
Sí.
Juan.
That's all.
Ciao.
Crazy. Those are our friends.
Those are our friends.
They have friends, y'all. They're nice people.
Yes.
What surprised you about being in Colombia, the country, the people, anything? What was that culture shock for you?
Oh, culture shock. Okay, I'll say challenges. Let's go with culture shock. The driving really has been, it's just different.
The
So
way
a lot
people
of,
drive.
yeah, like it's
Like they
GTA
zigzag, you know.
every day. Pedestrians now the right away. No, like literally.
What is GTA?
Grand Theft Auto.
It's a game. Grand Theft Auto.
I don't play it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what you know about GTA?
So that, the motorcycles, babies on motorcycles without helmets, babies and dogs on motorcycles, four-way intersections without street lights, like, so that's been a lot for me, and I'm glad that my nerves have handled it pretty well.
Yeah. So what is your main way to travel around?
So I walk a lot. I'm able to use the bus, so I've been using Metrolinea, which has been great for me, and then Uber and driver, so like ride shares.
So definitely the driving, everything. But another thing for me, well, I actually have a few things. So the weather, with it being like a constant, like between heat and maybe rainy season sometimes, it really threw me off in December because I had no idea that, well, I knew, but I had no idea that it was like Christmas because it's hot. The only thing that was like, oh, it's December is when I saw these Christmas lights everywhere.
Okay.
But,
it's weird.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That wasn't
yeah. But also just the, I guess like the placement of people, because when I was learning about Fullbright in Colombia itself, I went to like a presentation that was talking about like Afro-Colombian culture, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm about to get all of that. I'm going to Colombia, and so like we choose the country and the program chooses the city. I was, of course we have options, but they choose the city in the end. And so we ended up in Bucaramanga, which is great, but I was still like, why do black people there? But the research, which I should have done.
What cities have you traveled to other than Buca in Colombia?
We haven't been to all cities together.
She's definitely traveled to more than I have. But I think we started out in Barichara. Then we went to Cartagena.
Yep.
Then we went to Bogota. Here and there, we've been there. Villa de Leyva. We live in Bucaramanga.
I went to Medellin around the time we went to Bogota. And then I also visited San Andres, which is like the island owned by Colombia, but it's closer to Nicaragua.
What do you see from all the places you've been that sets Bucaramanga apart from the other cities?
That's a great question.
I don't want to use the word quaint. Buca, definitely when you go to like a city like Bogota, which to me is like a mega city, it definitely feels smaller, more manageable. You can notice the accent differences. Colombians kind of give Buca some trouble for their accent. I don't really see, I don't have an issue with it. But you can tell an accent difference. And then also a little bit of demeanor. So at least my experience in Medellin was a little more warm. But I think I don't know if that's a stereotype or not, but I've heard like Paisa is a little more opening and welcoming. And not to say that people in Buca haven't, but I could sense a difference between strangers. Like people were just a little more inviting.
Yeah, I think for me, out of all of the cities that I've been to, Buca is more similar to like where I come from. Because like Buca is not too big, it's not too small. Like the type of city it is. It's not too big, it's not too small. The people are, nice, semi-nice, that type of thing. So it's nothing like out of the ordinary. The weather is kind of like my area in the summer. So it's not like a lot that, I miss. So this, not to mention I live here, feels like my home away from home.
What's a city that you would tell people they have to visit? It's a must.
For me, Medellin, but I just love that city. Oh, I love that city. Went to Guatoque. Highly recommend.
Guatoque
yes.
is
Spell that for us.
Guatoque.
Okay.
Yeah,
Guatoque is in Tona.
Yes, in Tona something.
But I actually meant to say Guatape. Guatape,
So
which is
what
like
is it
close.
about this place?
So Guatape, I actually saw, on like Microsoft, they have the screensavers that'll like change every day on your computer. So I saw this in like February of 2020, and it's just like they're known for there's like this big rock where you can just see all of the town. It's a very small town outside of Medellin, surrounded by water, but it's just strikingly gorgeous. So it only takes maybe like 30 minutes to climb up to the top of the rock, and it's like a 2-hour bus ride outside of Medellin, but highly recommend.
Definitely worth it.
Yes.
I think for me, I would probably say Villa de Leyva in Boyacá, like the department, because I rode a horse there. And it was my first time riding a horse. And it was sensational, to say the least.
That's awesome. Now I want you to think about how you felt here, like your sense of belonging. How have the Colombians you've met, come in contact to? We just want to talk about Colombia in general, so not just in Bucaramanga. How have you felt you've been treated?
For me, I would say I've been treated fairly decent. However, I don't necessarily feel like I belong because in most of the areas I've been, it's still like I'm the black person, or if there are other like black people or like darker skinned people, they're not like in the best situations in the area. So it's like the people are nice, but I'll be like stared at a lot, or it's just not the best feeling, not the worst feeling.
You can't really get as comfortable as you would like.
Exactly.
I love what you said about like sense of belonging, because to me that just evokes a whole different sentiment, and I would say I definitely don't feel a sense of belonging. Not to say like, oh, I hate it here, I don't feel at home. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
I like those camera like Jim.
The staring is definitely exhausting. It's not my first time experiencing it, and I don't think it's the worst I've experienced, but it definitely limits how much I feel like I'm home. I think creating community and having someone that I'm so close to and that I can trust in the city has made it feel more comfortable for me, but and then I think also the Colombian friends that we've made has also made it easier, but it still does not feel like home. And that could just be my experience in Bucaramanga. In other cities, maybe it could have been different if I lived there. So yeah, I don't feel at home, but I would come back, maybe just not for an extended period of time.
And is that for just Buca, or is that for like all the cities you travel to?
For me, everywhere aside San Andres, but I think San Andres is because everyone looked like me, and also the reception I got was just so much. It's like people told me like, this is your home, like it's okay, we're here, we're gonna take care of you, blah blah blah. So I felt a sense of belonging there. I think geographically I couldn't stay because like a tiny island is not my vibe, but people wise I did feel like when I saw people I felt at home. Other places maybe I wasn't there long enough, and I was like, nice to stay, but I don't know if I live.
Yeah. No, it's enough. No, like I would definitely come back, but like you said, like definitely not for an extended period of time. Like I'll come back for a weekend, a week, maybe see my portero in my building, because he's about, real cool. Yeah. See my coworkers at the university, but other than that,
All right. You did mention that you used to kind of getting stares. So is this that dealing with other countries you've been to? Okay, so just like give us a quick spiel about what other countries you've been to, and compared to Colombia, did you feel more stares, less stares?
Great question. I traveled a bit in Europe, but I'll say the main place that I was in Spain.
Okay.
Spain, I definitely did not feel comfortable. I was in Madrid, so it's a metropolitan city. There are people of all different skin tones there, but it definitely is kind of like Buca, of like homogeneous. So like people pretty much look the same. So there, I felt like it was hostile. I know it wasn't, but it's just the looking of like, what are you doing here? Because it's like me just staring is rude, period. And I understand that culturally that can just be different. And what I've heard is just it's out of curiosity. Again, I'm not your exhibit, so I don't care. But yeah, it's just like I'd smile because again, I didn't know in the beginning. I'd smile, and there's no smile back. So I'm like, what is this?
That's odd.
So I kind of get that similar sentiment here, not only throughout Colombia, but specifically in Buca of the stairs. And it's like this, what are you doing here type of thing. And that confuses me because it's like your country does have an Afro presence, so why? But I've had Colombians tell me it's because I have short hair and la la la. I don't know. And that's why I always shout out Brazil because it's the one place that I went.
A lot of people are short hair, or a lot of females?
No, it's more just no one looked at me.
Oh,
like I just walked around and I was just a person. So yeah, I loved it because it's like I didn't have to do anything. Because one, everyone looks different and they expect you to, it's more, it's not this question of why you're here, it's more like, oh, you're not Brazilian. Here it's like, the assumption is you're not Colombian, then it's like, oh, where are you from, what are you doing here?
That's really interesting. Talk a little bit about the expat community here. So what has been your experience meeting other expats, meeting other foreigners? Have you been able to connect with them? Has it been easy or hard for you?
So for me, first off, I'm the only black male in my program, like in the Fullbright program.
Okay.
So when we got here, you know, for the first few months, I was like, I miss black people, specifically like black men, because I have like her and like a few other black women in the program. So I'm like, where are the black men at?
Yeah.
So I was actually in the expats group on Facebook. I don't know if I give them a shout out. But I ran into you and your husband on there. And so like that, like when I met you, I was like, and she can tell you, know, like literally I was getting emotional because I was like, finally, you know.
Yes.
So finding y'all, finding like this other young man, Austin, that we ran into. You know, it's been great. Not to mention we ran into like a few that like actually own like a restaurant here. Whatever. And they were cool. I didn't really like reach out with them like I reached out with y'all. But it hasn't been bad. I think it's been, with some people, I want to do more. It's just circumstances. But I think it's been pretty evenly distributed for me. That makes sense.
You're reminding me of like expats that we run into, because I don't really have a lot of contact with expats. I have to admit, I tend to avoid expats.
Just in general?
That's just, I don't know, that's just how I move. So from the expats that I have met in Buca, and particularly in Medellin, that's the most that I've met. Excellent reception, like we connected right away, no issues, no hostility. We just haven't maintained contacts because a lot of them are still moving, or they're just in different places and they haven't taken roots here. So
they're just more moving through, kind of.
Exactly, like passing through. Colombia was a stop, and now they're in Australia.
Talk to me about what it is that you missed about the States. What is it that you were like, man, I wish they had this. Why don't they have that? Can I get Amazon to bring me this? Like,
I feel like he's gonna have a list. So
I don't want it to sound like I'm not grateful for where I am at this point in my life. I'm uber grateful, as the kids say. But you know, like you said, there are some things. So, for one, it's really the little things. You learn to appreciate the little things, especially when you don't have them. So like, just having a dryer in my apartment, like wash my clothes and then dry them instead of having to hang them on a rack. Like, you know, that type of, you know, because we come from the U.S. where it's like fast, this, fast, that, and it's just a different ballgame out here, which is great.
Like, oh no, I forgot to hang my clothes up that way. Still.
Literally.
Or it's like, oh, well, you just don't have sheets right now. So.
So I'm just going to leave it at that because I feel like I want the worst to know that I'm grateful, but I don't want to come off as that person.
I'm proud of you. Because it's like that. So yeah, I would definitely say a dryer. It's not that they don't exist here. They do. Just in our living situations, we don't have them. So that would definitely make things easier. As for me, myself, and
I know what you're about to say. I felt it like yeah.
So I am currently without hot water. Yeah.
That is a big thing, actually.
So I'm serving my season, but I'm ready. Like, 'cause I can't. I'm not built for this. So that's something. Again, they have it. It's just my situation. They don't, and then people look at you like, "Okay, Pena, that is what it is." So I would say that. And then also, for some people who may not be used to a different pace of life, I feel like automatically expected once you leave the U.S. But knowing that people are going to be working on a different time, that sometimes your appointments may just be set, and then 30 minutes before they're not happening, or people may not communicate with you. So things are not going to move like that. Or at least in my experience, they have not. So I think I already shifted my mind, so I'm okay with it now. But if I hadn't, I would have been up and on. So.
No, because towards the beginning, it was more of a, well, I need to stop worrying about it, because if they're not going to worry about it, I'm not going to
I'm just going to be sitting here worried.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, what time do they say? That happened to us so many times. Like, they're supposed to come and fix something in a house, and they didn't come that day. We're sitting here waiting. Yeah, so you definitely have to build up a certain mindset, especially for this. So
we're better for it.
it does make you different. Is there anything at all you'll miss about Colombia that you think you will miss?
I know I'm going to miss the weather. At least I know like weather differentiates throughout the country, but like in this region, the whole like there's only a dry season and a rainy season. I come from New Jersey, so I don't have time for winter anymore. I'm not doing it. I won't tolerate it. So the sun, the lack of humidity, like I love
the
it.
breezes. Oh yeah.
It's like it's a dream.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the weather. I love it.
I would probably say like the pace of life.
That too.
Oh yeah.
That
Because,
too.
Back home, like we're always stressed about something. We're always going, moving, all that.
True.
Out here, it's like I wake up in leisure, and I also do know that that's like just like my specific job and like that type of thing. Like I wake up with leisure. If I don't want to do something, it's kind of like I don't want to do it. Like, okay, so it's
No, those are literally top two for me. Like,
that's true.
and I want to be weather I can't really control, but like to be able to incorporate some of that like leisurely living, or just like I don't have to be on this rat race. Like I'm not built for it anymore. I don't want to. So again, not like I'm not gonna work, but I'm not running myself into the grave.
Yeah, the time culture is definitely like a love-hate thing. It's like I hate having to adjust to it, coming here and then going back home. I hate having to like adjust to it. Yeah, that's true. All right, so that being said, I know you talked about home being much colder. Do you think you'll be traveling anywhere else? Is there anyone else you have in mind for the future?
I know it. It's just part of my lifestyle. Really.
What y'all thinking about?
I have a few places, so I kind of want to branch out from more than South America. So there are like places in Africa that I like feel like I have to go to. So like Ghana or something like that, So definitely around there. And then Lord willing, my best friend, he also applied for Fullbright. So Lord willing, he'll be up in like Greece.
Yes.
So I'll definitely, piggyback out there,
For real.
what they call hitchhike out there.
Right. Greece is definitely top. Bali eventually, if I can just stand the flight. The Maldives. I really like, the luxury type places.
Oh, yeah,
Seychelles. Panama, I actually am going. So I'm kind of like trying to scope it out because I'm trying to find like a winter bird situation. So even when I go back, I still have somewhere to go. Is there anywhere else in South America? I feel like I'd always want to go back to Brazil, but
I would love to hit up Ecuador. I would love to.
From what you know and your experiences, what type of person should visit Colombia?
Definitely an open-minded person, because like, for one, just because the culture and the lifestyle is different doesn't mean it's wrong, so I know a lot of us in the U.S., we feel like things should be certain ways, and if they're not, you're doing it wrong. So definitely open-minded, someone that's adaptable. Because, like, going from country to country, you got to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Literally. So.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the characteristics you're describing are for like extensive time. Like if you're living
for both, you know.
Because I'm thinking like if you're just coming to Colombia for 5 days and you are someone who's gone on vacation before, you can still find the amenities that you're looking for if it's 5 days.
Okay.
If you're staying for 5 months, then it's like, all right, maybe change your mind. This is not a vacation.
Yeah. So there's definitely two sets of advice. You know, someone who's actually wants to live the expat life here, become incorporated as maybe like get a cedula and all this ID, versus someone who's like kind of passing through more of an experience type of deal.
Because I think Colombia is really open to anyone if you really just want to just see a new country, try a new experience, blah, blah, blah. But to live for a period of time, to me the characteristics you mentioned would apply to any place that you go. And I think here would also be a benefit, Spanish. At least in Bucaramanga, you kind of just, for extended period of time, you are going to need it. It's like it's unavoidable. But other places like Bogota or Medellin, you might be able to pass for an extended period of time without having extensive knowledge of the language. I think Colombia in general would be helpful to know Spanish.
Alrighty. Okay, and we're about done. I wanted to know if y'all had any crazy stories, like anything that's happened here that's just been bizarre, that you just was like, I can't believe this was happening right now.
Oh, yes. So, yes, we were in Cartagena, and we found a taxi driver to take us from this club that we had went to back to our, Airbnb place. So, we all get in the taxi, and literally seconds later, he hits 2 people. He hits them with his car. Seriously.
And I didn't even realize that we had literally backed into
like people, not like their cars, but like he bumped people.
You were going fast? Or?
No. We were parked.
Okay.
We got in the car, he backed up and hit me. Looked back and then proceeded to drive. And so we're like, did we just hit people? And he's like, yeah, okay. And he just drives. Like, oh,
wow.
So,
we got where we need to go.
We definitely
and
did.
Lord willing, I hope they're okay. I don't think it was major.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still unexcusable.
It was kind of like a tap.
Yeah, it's a little
like a tappy tap.
But you could tell you hit something.
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing. I didn't know until we got to the Airbnb.
Oh, you didn't know?
I thought
you thought it was like a bump in the road?
Yeah. In the car. So for when we were packed in the car, right? This is a taxi for 5 of us, plus the driver, and it's like one of those kind of buggy type taxis. So we got like people in the back seat, like laid across. Yeah. So.
Don't have faith in pedestrian right-of-ways around here. Do not have faith. No. So yeah. Okay, that's crazy. That's really
I
crazy.
think I can think of anything else. Although I'm certain I'll probably have some stories. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys, like your time, your sharing, trying to help other people, give them some insight. These two are really, really awesome, and they really are bright people, and I hope that you get something from what they've shared, and I just want to thank you guys, and I pray that, you continue to go on, be successful with whatever you want to do. So, is there anything else you want to say?
thank you, Philly.
Literally, thank you for this opportunity. Like, this is
shout
really
out to
dope.
her pottery. Really.
Shout out to her pottery.
Actually,
shout out to her mans, her babies, like
everybody in the family.
Like,
so no, we
really
do love and appreciate you.
Most
and all you
definitely.
do.
Awesome. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks always for tuning in, and take care of yourselves and be blessed. Bye.